and I made the decision. But I had put a lot of time into teaching myself about purification and filtration, and putting myself and my family and our needs through different scenarios and different plans. And this just fit right in. So I made the decision.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can only have so much water in storage. And at some point you're going to drain that. And what are you going to do when you need to refill it? And you've got no grid.
Yep.
This pump is the perfect thing for that. We actually had an opportunity. Shane interviewed the guy who invented it and made it. And that's on our podcast. So go back a couple of whatever and look up that interview. It's with Bob with Portawell and Shane's interview, and listen to that. And we'll have links in the descriptions of this video as well as that video for our affiliate links for you to be able to pick one of those up if it's a good fit for you and what you need. And I'm going to get one too, by the way. It's just one of those, it's one of those things that's like, it makes so much sense. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah. One is none, two is one, three is just right.
See, I've got 6 gravity fed systems, and I definitely need an electric powered system too. Or I have a hand cranked one, and that's fine and all. But like, the least calories I can expend, the better. Which actually brings me to, I did an interview with Marcelo over at Food Storage Depot. And we'll have a link below. But he's awesome because he works with the food production side of things. They have the food storage, and they've got Mountain House, and they've got their own line. But like a lot of the places you'll go and you'll talk to them, they're like, yeah, they're just the seller. Like but he works with, like, you go back, and I learned a lot about wheat and beans, surprisingly. I've been doing my beans all wrong. Did you guys know that beans harden over time?
I didn't know that. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
So after about 3 to 5 years, they start hardening. Unless it's a low quality bean, then it's already hardening. And so if you're buying your beans uncooked, you're going to have this problem where you're going to have to water bath them longer or pressure cook them to get them to where you can eat them comfortably, right? And so understanding that, hey, okay, if I buy pre-cooked, freeze-dried, or pre-cooked then dehydrated, I'm going to have a much easier time, because you want to conserve as much water as possible. Well, if I'm water bathing and then I'm boiling, that's 2 different batches of water.
That's a lot of energy too. You're putting into cooking those beans.
Of energy.
Where are you going to get that energy from? Is it from gas, or is it from firewood, or whatever? That's a lot of energy.
And if it's solar, you're there for a month. Like,
seriously,
like if you're trying to sun oven it, like we just have to take into consideration what are the right things for me based on knowing the food, right? And coming from the manufacturer of where the food's coming from, it was really neat to see. And he was showing me like the tools they use to determine the grading of water and wheat. And determining like what's going to last the longest, because wheat, if stored correctly, is indefinite. Rice, if stored correctly, is indefinite. Like, there's no expiration on those. Beans, if stored correctly, can be indefinite, but it's better to make sure that they're preserved or cooked then preserved, right? Canning for me is like the simple win for everything. But when you're looking at your longer term stuff and you want to have a larger supply, go past a year, some of the stuff you can really doesn't do well after a year. And so having the right foods at the right time make all the difference. And so we did an interview. Guys, go check that one out as well. Plus, I mean, I've known him for 22 years. Knew he was a little bit into prepping. Didn't know full on until about 8 years ago.
I listened to him. I listened to his presentation on stage, and I was just glued. He was, he knows his stuff. I tell you, it was good.
And did he talk about 7 prep steps, or did he talk about just food?
Just food and the Mylar pouches, foil pouches, and cans and so forth. Yeah, just super intelligent. Stuff I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why
300,000 in mistakes learning all this stuff.
I was just going to say that's part of the reason why we go to these events, because if Scott is learning something new and Shane is learning something new, I promise you I'm learning something new too, by the way. And we have an expertise. We've been doing this for long enough, and at the level of knowledge that we have, we're learning. And so there's some other interviews that were done that we did. Anybody else want to share any of those?
You guys know, you guys know Dale. Fortress
He
Clothing.
was awesome.
I love that dude. He was at the first PrepperCon, and I see him at like every event, gun shows, whatever. Like, he's everywhere. He was on Shark Tank. Didn't get a deal because the sharks, couldn't handle the heat, the warmth of this cold weather gear. Like it is. And when I got it, like I love this stuff. I love his stuff because I've got like Gen 1 of his cold weather gear, and it's good for I think negative 30 degrees. Wow. But you don't have to move. Like you don't need to sit in a sleeping bag. You don't need to be in a tent. Like you can just sit there and chill. Like he even has a video on the website where they take a person, tie a rope around their waist, and push them into the lake. They break out a hole in the ice, but basically you pull them out of the water, and they're in 45 seconds back to comfortable temperature. They're no longer in hypothermic threat.
Wow!
Because it wicks the water away so fast, but it retains the heat, and it's amazing technology. And now they have 3 different types of layers that you can use, and it's comfortable. One of the guys we met, the Babbling Brooks. Mm-hmm. He wears Fortress clothing all the time.
Yep, all the time.
Because he can't regulate his temperature. He's got some medical issues, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's the most affordable method I've seen.
Yeah.
Long term to take care of that medical need. And so it was like, done. So I'm going to be buying some more of their stuff.
So if your wives are always cold, get them in this, and they will not complain again, right?
Absolutely. We're going to have a link for that too in the description for sure.
And if you use the promo code PREPPER before June 1st, you get 20% off.
That's legit.
That's a huge savings. So guys, PREPPER, PREPPER, 20% off at Fortress Clothing. We'll have that link below and in the video. Oh my gosh. Like he is probably one of the coolest dudes in the whole world of preparedness. Like genuinely cares about people, genuinely loves everyone he talks to. Or at least everyone I know that he talks to, just authentic all the way through, and one of the best guys.
Yeah, very good.
And I love their gear. Like I've got some. Shane, you've got some, right?
Fortress?
Yeah,
I don't.
Not
actually.
yet.
I don't.
I know Paris is getting some,
but
I'm getting their light layer
with the promo code. I just might get some.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
That's my next purchase is the lighter layer because. For what I do, like I hate putting on coats, taking off coats, putting on coats, taking off. And to just have a general regulated heat that just stays consistent inside and outside, like that's perfect for me.
And I'm a believer in getting what you need before you need it, right?
Seriously.
Yes.
And we're coming into spring, summer, so definitely best to get things before you need them as fall and winter come on. So
there's an old saying, the best time to fix your roof is when the sun is shining. Not when it's raining.
That happened to me. My roofer fixed my roof, and then it rained and got everything wet. Anyway,
speaking of sunshine,
I have the experience.
Speaking of sunshine, you like the segue?
Nice.
Golden sun in the sky, that orb so far away. I actually met the Gold Girls. Jesse, who was on season 1 of The Apprentice. Surprisingly, we had Shark Tank and now season 1 of The Apprentice.
Wow.
She's one of the Gold Girls, and they do. And some of you guys have listened for a while know that I got these guys into 7K for a little while, and they're like, okay, whatever. I enjoyed it. She does 7K. She does really well with it. And we talked about 7K, kind of her experiences with it. And there's another video podcast and everything else about that with her. Super fun, just a neat person. But she goes into, we talked about like the safe Sound Money wallet, which I think for everything they do at 7K, I think it's my favorite of all the things they do. I think it's the best value of all the things they do because you can put your money out of your bank account into gold and silver at their vault immediately. And so as money starts going, hey, we don't have any value, right? We've all watched that. It maintains value because it's in gold and silver, and you can have that shipped directly to your house whenever you want to, or move it out back to your account to go spend it.
So instead of the dollar losing value through inflation and even depreciation, that it's in gold, and so your value goes up, and then you convert it back to dollars and spend it.
Yeah, or whatever other coin you want to, because
or into metals, or into physical metals and ask for delivery.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they also have an exchange where you can take all your collectibles, which Shane doesn't like collectibles. We understand. Yep. I have I'm a hit and miss with it because I've got collectible pennies and quarters and stuff I've collected since a child. So for me, it's like, woohoo, this is fun. So I've got collectibles at my desk all the time. Like I got collectibles, and I think it's fun. But it's like I'm in the process of selling these because I looked at it as a short-term investment for collectibles. Take it. Now this one, let's see. This one is an MS-70 I got before I started doing 7K. But this one, I just priced it out. I got this one for, I think, $50. It's worth almost $200.
Wow. Just like this song goes, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. Know when to sell them.
Yeah. And so this one's going on the chopping block. And I also have this Georgia Peach one. This one's going on the chopping block. They're both going to get sold. And I'm going to go buy rounds. So, and I'm just...
Bullion.
To me, that makes absolute sense. Bullion. Yeah. Bullion rounds, whatever.
Well, absolutely. Just like with gold and silver ratio. And there's always a time when the ratio favors one or the other, and you switch back and forth from gold to silver to get more ounces of that metal.
Yeah. So check out their link below, guys. They were fun and a lot of good information there as well.
Cool.
Yeah, that was super cool. I did an interview with a guy at Devo's Outdoor. They do this light that was super cool, and I thought it's a telescoping lights, an LED light, and it's patent pending, so it's really their technology that they developed, and it as a 9-foot pole, up to a 9-foot pole, because it's a telescoping pole. And when you're out at a camping ground or you're in your backyard and you need the light way out in the middle of nowhere, this is a perfect thing. It's totally portable. So they got a solar panel that they're trying to, they're working on developing so that it's actually connected and you can have consistent battery power there. And one of the cool things I was thinking about was that, when you're at camping, you have a flashlight, which is in your hands, which means you only have one hand when you're doing things. And then you might have a headlamp. And so you get both hands, but now you turn this way or that way and you can't see the other way. And so with this telescoping lens, it just really, the higher it goes, the more it can illuminate the whole area.
It's like a miniature parking lot light, overhead light. Yeah, pretty cool.
And then it pops
it's like a directional lantern above you, right? You can have one direction on, two directions on, or all directions
on. 360 degrees, yeah.
Yeah, you could put that, if you had a power out in your house, you could telescope that thing up to the ceiling and have it illuminate the whole room. They had a few other really cool products that we talk about in the podcast, in the interview that we did. So check that one out too. That one was really cool.
Awesome.
And let's see, I did Isaiah. I talked with Isaiah Price over at Sofo Survival. He has a shop in Spanish Fork, and he's got a great story. Just a great story. And he started a shop. He's not just a prepper, but he started a store to really help others get prepared as well. Similar mentality as what we have, with his desire and design to make sure that he gets quality products into people's hands that are going to last and they're going to be at a good price. And so he's got a great store. And then I did the last interview. I think
you're his number one customer.
Why is that?
I talked a couple times.
What?
And we laughed about how often I'm on the phone with you. And he's like, hold on, I got to hop into Sophos. And he's like, yeah, he's here like almost every 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it seems like. And he's like, oh, it totally is. I think you're his like, you're keeping him in business. So
well, he's in your backyard there, right?
Yeah, he lives up the road, and the store is so cool. Like it's like a kid in a candy store. I don't care about the candy stores. I care about prepper stores. I go in
exactly.
Knives, I'm first aid kits. Ooh,
really jealous with a lot of these guys who started their own business. And they're living their dream, right? Maybe they're not making much money. I don't know, but I'm sure they're loving their job. They're loving their work. I wish I was there too, but I like my job. I'm not a complainer. I'm not going to complain, but awesome. I'd rather be in that world full time.
Yeah. The last guy I interviewed real fast is a guy who created a system where it's actually, he became certified to be able to offer it. And it's important for people who want to have safety and security in their homes. And it's a film that goes over windows that keeps people, that extends the time it takes to break the window. Now, it's not a permanent, you're going to eventually, if they keep hammering away, they'll eventually break the window. But if somebody hammers a window and it's a second or two, and they get in, reach in their hand, unlatch the door or unlatch the window, and they get in, and you don't hear anything because it took them that fast to do it, you're going to have it's going to be a bad situation. But if that guy's got a hammer for 30 seconds or a minute, you're going to hear that. Eventually, you're going to wake up and you might be in bed asleep and thinking, what is that hammering sound? And you'll be able to get up, get ready, and get prepared so that if that dude continues to go for it, he's going to, you'll be ready for him. And this film goes over your windows, and it's a great product. His name is Jordan, and he's from Bastion Defense, and we're going to have a link in the description below from him too.
Yeah.
And that's a really good, I think